Yep, it's early, but we got to build some golf clubs. Let's go. Welcome back to the McGolf Shop. Jim McCleary, Big Ten's most awarded and certified club maker, club fitter. And if you like what you're about to see, how about liking down below and subscribe? And swing and hit that subscribe button that way, or that little alarm that's down there. That way, whenever something gets posted, you get informed. We're starting early today. And the reason why we're starting early today is because yesterday I had one of those 24-hour bugs, whatever you call it. I'm not even sure what it was. But for those guys who don't know, I work a 12-hour rotating shift outside of this as well. So I basically have two jobs. And when I get done from 12 hours of work, I come here and I do whatever Mrs. McGolf has ready for me. And then on my days off, we do our fittings, our builds, our repairs, our lessons, and whatnots. And 2 days ago, last night, all of a sudden, my eye started popping out of my head. I'm not even sure what that was. And yesterday, I basically slept all day. It felt pretty good, actually. So today I woke up, and it's time to get going. All right, so we got two sets of clubs to build today. We're going to do a single length iron for Greg with 2 Gs from Northern Ohio, and a set of Wishons. Yep, a set of Wishons for Matt, who's always been a real big participant on the YouTube channel, and he's from even further north in Ohio. And we're going to make a regular set using some recoils, and we're going to make them a little long. We're going to talk about that. So getting started, single length irons, they're exactly what they sound like. We're going to only make 4 irons as requested. And these are the Sterling irons. Let me rip off some tape here, or some plastic. Okay, Sterling irons are kind of a brainchild between Mr. Wishon, or Tom, and the fellow that's out there promoting it. His name eludes me right this moment. However, what they've done is, their approach to the single length iron is to, at the higher end, like this is a 4, okay, and it has an undercut cavity. You can see it has a milled face, so it's springy, okay. The lofts aren't totally jacked up on these things. They're actually pretty close. And you'll see it in this one. And you'll see it like that all the way down through the 7 for sure. And then right about the 8 iron, it turns into a different kind of club. And for lack of a better term, it's basically dumbing down the club, meaning not as springy because, well, the clubs, as opposed to having a set that does this, now they're all doing that. So somehow you got to make these guys go further, and you got to make the other guys go shorter in order for the distances to be the same, so you can apply the same swing. So what they do is the 8 iron, although a cavity back, is not pocket cavity, not springy face. Basically, it's just a really nice player's kind of cavity. So it doesn't take off nearly as much. Now I've made a bunch of these sets, and everybody that's had them has shown improvement. All right, at least has come back and told me that the first couple of rounds that they shot have been very low. Now, I will preface this, single length irons, all right, if you've been golfing quite a long time and you think single length is for you, that's great. However, you need to be mentally prepared for that. What do I mean by that? Well, if you go out and you search the internet, you'll hear about how much further they're hitting their pitching wedge and how much further they're hitting their shorter irons. And if that's happening, then something's not right, okay? Because the whole idea of single length irons is you put one swing, one ball placement, and the clubs do all the work, which is the way it should be now, right? But single length, single plane, everything's same, blah, 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 blah. And so they're saying, oh my gosh, my pitching wedge goes very, very long. Okay. Now the other end of that is that the higher end irons don't go as far. I don't know about that. Okay, so I've made as high as 5 irons, 4 iron maybe, 5 irons for sure. And what I do is I have the folks come in and hit, and we start from the pitching wedge and work our way up. And what's happened in the past is that nice even fluid swings, because we know we're nice and even fluid, and right about the 5 iron, all of a sudden grunts start happening. I'm swinging hard. Well, what are you doing that for? Well, my iron is shorter, so I need to swing it harder to make it go. No, that's not the idea of single length, that you're supposed to put the same kind of swing, make them all go different distances for the same kind of application, right? Oh yeah, that's right. That's what it's supposed to be. Put a nice fluid swing, whew, off of it goes. Okay, so that's my single length pro con. All right, same swing, same stance, same everything. If you have back issues, it very well may be a burden. So when you're on the shorter irons, you're not so short anymore, and less complication, honestly. But the real trick is that the technology was never around that allowed this to happen. Well, Mr. Wishon hit the market first. We can thank Bryson DeChambeau for this, because him and his one plane and with single length. Now you have a couple other companies that are into it, and I believe that they're messing around with lofts, not necessarily so much of the technology. So these guys do a heck of a good job. So we've already been told the length that we want the swing weight that we want, all these things that we want, so it's just a matter of putting the things together. So let's go and let's do it. So as you saw, all the weights came out. The heads are within a gram, shafts are right on, grips are within a gram, so life is good. Now, here's the trick. I've been requested to make these at 37.5 inches long, so the fellow must be pretty tall. If I go back and I get on my ruler here and I say 5 iron is 38 inches, which is pretty standard, then 37.5 is like 6 iron length. Mr. Wishon and Company has repeatedly told me that it's between an 8 and a 7 iron length is what these are made for. So we're going to go in a 1/2 inch longer, which adds swing weight. Okay, adds swing weight. Now, everybody gets concerned about swing weight. We'll do this again. Swing weight is nothing more than a measurement on that guy right there. A swing weight scale, right? And it's a teeter-tottery effect. Now, what is it a measure of? It is a measure of the heft of the club. So when you pick it up like this, you can feel the head, you can find a feel head weight. Far more important is total weight. All right, so because of this extra length, we're going to have extra swing weight. However, because the shafts are lighter, the grip is heavier, it's going to balance itself out. So I really don't need to add too much to this. Perfect. Those are the things that when you've done this for a while, you get to know it. There are swing weight calculators out there that can help you. All right, they're not precise, but they're pretty doggone close. And why not? Most people, most amateur golfers, cannot sense 3 swing weight changes, 3 swing weight point changes. Just not in them. There are some people out there, you know, for every time I say this, there's always somebody out there going, oh, I can sense less than that. Well, yes, there are. But as a whole, most can't, between 2 and 3 swing weight points you can't sense. Well, that's quite of a big change, honestly, when you're talking about weight. And don't get hung up on swing weight. If you're a point or 2 out, try it. All right, just try it. Because all you're doing is adding weight to the club. That's all you're doing is adding weight to the club. You know, you get these ones where you can put a 10-gram weight. It's about that doggone big, right? Beep, 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 beep. All right, it's a lot of weight. And you go to put it in a hosel, and yep, it feels good, but now you got all this weight in the hosel, and if you're a guy that draws the ball, you're going to just do it even more. So now you got to get creative. Where are you going to put it? Well, there's some places you just can't. Right? So you got to be really very sensitive to the amount of change you're going to make. Now, you know, guys, very sensitive. You want to get there, fine. Okay, let's do that. And if you're making a very long club and you're making it very heavy, then you know, all of a sudden now you got to take off weight. Well, where are you going to take it off at? Are you going to grind the head? Are you going to back weight it just so it feels better? So now you put the weight in your hands. Now necessarily that's not a bad thing, but it's just more weight. So consider that the next time you go out there and take a look. It's something that's a little lighter. All right. Now, from a fitting point of view, if you're a very aggressive swinger, right, very aggressive swinger, you're going to want it heavier so you can feel it. It's all about where you can feel it. Weight, I can put it in your hands. It could be out at the head. It could be all these different places where you could put it. Now, if you're a smooth and rhythmic swinger, Tai Chi on golf, you might be able to deal with something lighter. So again, keep that stuff in mind. So let's go build some clubs. Now, what you're going to see is I'm just going to, since they're all the same weight and they're all the same kind of shaft, everything, I'm going to find the first one. Am I going to just hack them off and put them together? No. No. Each one of them are going to get checked to make sure the frequencies are in, but at least after the first one I'm going to have a pretty doggone good idea where I've got to go. So we're going to check the first one and then we're going to start building. Okay, so you saw us put it all together. We did the measuring, we did the frequency check, we did the flowing, and now they're all up on my rack drying with a black and chrome ferrule to go with the chrome and gray grips that we're going to be putting on. So we should be good to go. So tomorrow we'll finish done with this. Now, if you wanted to see more of how we do builds, I'll put a couple connections up in this particular area or up in this area, wherever that little eye shows up at. And then we'll talk about it. Sterling irons, recoil ES F3s for the regular flex, and some Winn jumbo grips. So they should turn out pretty good. So let's see what it does tomorrow. So did you ever have one of those long days that you go and you think you got her done, and then you go and check your notes and wow, all of a sudden you got more work to do. Why? Because you didn't put it together correctly. That's why Mrs. McGolf keeps the notes for me. And that's what happened. If you see somewhere up in here, if I did my videoing correctly, that I am doing like this and I'm showing you how good the ferrules are going, and I go back and I check my notes just to make sure I've got the right length, and I'm going, wow, that was really neat. And then I go back further into the email exchange only to find out that Greg with 2 G's wanted logo down, and here I did the spinning and aligning and only to have to put them down. So I had to take them apart. So now look, nothing, Greg, nothing. There's your logo. Okay, what we did is we put the recoil ES 460 F3. So what is all that? That's a lot of speak for it is a really good graphite shaft. The recoil has been outstanding for the last couple of years. The ES is for extra stability, meaning that there's a little bit more oomph in the tip. The F3 means it's for the regular range. Okay, and what do we put in these things? The sterling and the upper end, right? And we talked about that in the beginning about how the lofts aren't jacked. They're strong. Well, they are jacked. They're strong. but they're not, you know, controlled by loft. So what they've done is you got the pocket cavity right in here, milled, springy face, so that the ball gets out. They've used technology to get these distance gaps, along with being strong, like most clubs are, right? And then we put not the dry tack jumbos, but the Winn XL jumbos. We wanted those. Nice old school kind of grip, especially if you like a wrap style grip. So it turns out pretty good. So how did we end up? He asked for a D0 swing weight. He asked for regular flex. He asked for 63 degrees. And he asked for those grips. And he got dead solid on 4.0, meaning you got the regular flex. We got his length dead solid on. Swing weights came out 1 to 1.5 points heavy. So I doubt you'd notice until you just see this. And all the lofts and the lies are per the spec and what you asked for. So hopefully you liked what you saw, and you subscribe, and let's see your scores go low. And Greg, they're coming your way.